Hi, good day, all. I'm Jacqueline, representing our cross-functional team from nursing, materials management, and also pharmacy to share with you about our challenge. In fact, it's a day-to-day challenge in inventory management. Next slide, please. Within the hospital setup, there are many supplies that we are putting together to support our users to provide better care to our patients. While there are current inventory systems or solutions out there, which we are currently also using one of them, finding an integrated solution that not only manage the inventory within the storage area, but also incorporate the tracking and tracing during the process of moving supplies from the storage to the patient care, it has not been easy task for us. Hence, with this session, we hope to help find solution to reduce the challenges faced in managing the supplies inventory. Our current process where systems are used are not integrated requires manual intervention within the process from supplying to the wards and clinics to deploying the supplies to our patients. We are also challenged by space limitation, where bulk of the space are dedicated for patient care. So our ideal solution we are looking at, firstly, ensure patient safety, where the right product with the right quality is available and able to be deployed at the right time to our patients. There are a variety of supplies stored in the hospitals to enable us to treat all patients from both inpatient and outpatient. And tracking of supplies such as product shelf life, right storage condition is key to ensure quality of product is maintained throughout the process before it is finally used on our patients. So be able to reduce rework due to human errors where common issues such as overstocking or understocking of supplies will happen. The solution should help promote work efficiency for our staff as well. Last but not least, our ideal solution should be scalable and integrated and able to cater for future growth because our hospitals are growing and of all the operations. It should also help to optimize resources used in the supplies inventory process because it is still very human intensive. Next slide, please. Okay. Here's an overview of our current supplies process. As you can see on the slide itself, there is this little picture showing clean utility room at the nursing wards, clinics, etc. This is where the medical supplies, medications, linen, and medical equipment are kept and ready to support the daily operations. Supplies are placed in tote boxes, as you can see in the blues and the yellows, or maybe also stored in the original boxes within the CU room. Supplies are ordered from different departments, not solely from one storage location, and each department has a mix of own manual processes and or systems to manage the movement of supplies. And the process shown here typically is for medical supplies only. So all the supplies and equipment are kept within the CU must be ready at all times because you never know when is the time that it is emergency and we need to use them. And the checks are incorporated in part of the day-to-day processes to ensure freshness of the products and the supplies as well as readiness of our equipment at all times. And currently we are using an inventory system where it captures the receiving of stock from vendors and issuing to the nursing wards, clinics, etc. It captures the reordering request form from the CUs when the staff drops the RFID card into the reader box, which you can see on the screen itself, the one that is circled off using with the red line. And on the card itself, that is where you see on the screen as well as that is the RFID item card for each product at the CU room. So it captures the reordering request from CU when the staff drops the RFID card into the reader box. Within the central store where the supplies are kept before deploying to the CU, that is, the picking is done by the picking staff, but it is guided by paper pick list. So after the supplies have been picked from the central store and replenished at the CU, the storekeepers has to remove the card from the reader box, as you can see on the picture, and return them to the tote box's location where the supplies are placed. So as you can see, this is pretty much a very manual process still. A fixed order quantity, or what we call a PAR level commonly within a hospital, has been preset in the RFID card. And any changes to the reorder quantity has to be done via manual updating in the inventory system. And also the label itself, the sticker on the RFID card, has to be updated and changed as well. The nursing staff has to update the supplies charges in different systems depending on the type of supplies that has been used on the patient. And this requires additional effort from our nursing staff in addition to their primary role of patient care. There are instances where supplies are not charged, or typically we call it drop charges, when the nursing staff has to attend to urgent patient requests and hence they may have forgotten to charge out in the system. The supply stored within the CU is dependent on the patient's warded, which means that the types of supplies and also how many to keep for each type of supplies will fluctuate throughout the year, depending on the patient type and the patient load. Next slide, please. The current supplies process has posed several challenges to our staff and also our nursing colleagues. In particular, the RFID cards has to be dropped into the reader box to trigger the replenishment from the central store. The label on the RFID card has to be updated when there is a change in the PAR level or reordering level. This requires manual effort to remove the label on the RFID card and paste an updated label over it. The usage pattern will change as the types of supplies may change throughout the years. Different supplies to be ordered from the different departments as mentioned earlier. This means that users will need to know and remember where should they order the different supplies. As the RFID card is to be deposited manually into the reader box, it is dependent on how soon the reordering is triggered. Hence, typically, we may oversupply or even undersupply at times. The RFID card has to be returned to the cardholder, as mentioned as well, as that is set up at the tote boxes. If the RFID card is lost, a new card has to be replaced, or the user will need to order the supplies manually via the system entry. Our nursing staff also needs to update the different systems, which also shared earlier, and depending on the types of supplies that's being used. And again, this is a manual process. Also, the different supplies are ordered via different systems, which means that they cannot be ordered on the go. They have to go into all the different modules and all to do the ordering. Product shelf life has to be checked manually and removed from the shelves, whichever the products has already come to the end of life. And besides, frequent checks has to be put in place to ensure that the supplies are checked again and again before administering to the patients. And while the RFID card system should incorporate with the two-bin system within the CU, it can be challenging to cater space to accommodate all supplies with the two-bin system approach. Next slide, please. We hope to have an ideal solution where it is able to help us hold all consumables and products in the CU of products of various weights, presentations, and it must be easy to use. For example, probably making use of some facial recognition, touchscreen, or probably some form of guided picking. We're looking forward to some kind of automated inventory management system where the solution takes care of managing the inventory, auto-trigger the ordering and restocking from CU rather than probably using a card, and able to recommend the inventory levels so that we need not time and again update our cards with the updated reordering level, and also able to actively track the product expiry instead of manual tracking, which is currently what we're doing. The system or the solution should also ensure the right product has been restocked to the right storage bin. The system should also interface with our hospital's material systems or any other material systems that we have within the institution. The solution should also allow us to incorporate this current process that we're using together into the future of probably having a robotics in restocking or even picking in the future to complete the last miles of supplies replenishment to the CU. And also we look forward to a solution to ensure charges are recorded timely rather than depending on our nurses to charge it out after they have used it on the patient, and hence hopefully to reduce the number of drop charges. Next, please. We hope to have a solution that will bring health not only to our patients but also to help our staff how to make things a little bit more efficient so that they need not be spending too much time in managing all the manual processes, and rather to spend more time on our patients and also more value added tasks. And with that, I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Jacqueline. I think that was a very informative session. So to the audience, please feel free to type in your questions on the Q&A tab. Meanwhile, we have some questions ready. So Jacqueline, so question one is, what other solution have been implemented prior to RFID? And if it doesn't work, why didn't it work?
Okay, so currently we are having this, what we call it, a Tubin system or a RFID card system, which I've shared earlier on. This is in fact to us pretty new, and we are already using it, but we are also having the same kind of system deployed in our sister company, which is in Ng Teng Fong. They are using it for past couple of years. Of course, ideally, we would hope to have everything integrated and interface, but in reality, I think it is not possible. So hence, as a working tool, I think the current inventory system, it works well only within our main store context. But as I mentioned just now, like the drop charges, the really linking up with the usage over at the CU, that is not able to track it in our current system, which is, I think that is that missing puzzle that we have now.
Okay, noted on that. Second question is, what is the impact of human factor on this entire challenge, and how do you intend to also address that?
Okay, so currently what we have is that no doubt that we wanted to put in an ideal two-bin system, but as mentioned as well, also because of the storage space constraint and all. So hence we are teaching, in a sense, teaching our users when to drop the RFID card so that we can still utilize the current inventory system to help us gauge when to do the ordering, replenishment, and so on and so forth. But having said that, it comes with certain kind of experience if you want to know like when to drop the card at the appropriate time. So hence we have situation where we end up with either overstocking because the nurses may not know they drop a little bit too often, or they drop a little bit too late. So there is still also this intervention whereby our team of storekeepers will still have to plow through all the various clinics, the wards, just to check to make sure those cards are dropped and they are replenished on time. But having said that, which means we still need the additional manpower to really go around to all the wards to do the checks to see when they need to do the replenishment.
Thank you, Jacqueline. So we have question from the audience. So
Mm,
first
sure.
um, is this system also used in operating theater as well? And what about bigger medical equipments? Do they also have RFID?
Okay, so this particular system will be used in operating theaters. However, it is in the CU of the operating theaters. As about the equipment, no, currently the RFID is not attached to our equipment.
Okay, noted.
Yeah.
Another question, is the institution planning to change to modular shelving for the CUs instead of blue or yellow bins?
Um, Maybe yes and no. In the new Alex, probably we will have that, but currently there's still some years to go, so we are still have to make use of the blue and yellow bins.
Mhm. Okay, thank you.
And in fact, to add on is that in our other institutions, there's still a mix of the blue and yellow bins as well. So we are looking at system not to get us burn a big hole in our pocket, whereby we need to set up a brand new kind of a storage system, but something that we can use in both kind of setup, either the yellow blue bins or a full slew of a new fleet of the storage system. Yeah.
Thank you. And the last question, what is what is the targeted accuracy for creating a proof concept? Ideal to start with inefficiencies areas first to improvise, let's say, RFID login and facial recognition.
Sure. I think probably we will say want to target to start off with the nursing wards, because that is where the volume is. And I think that from there we'll be able to see whether the concept really works for other areas, like such as the clinics or even the operating theaters.
This particular challenge statement refers to a problem that